All right. So today I want to talk to you guys about effective meal planning and prepping strategies. So this is all about how to um, not lose sleep over having your meals ready and making sure that you're not spending all day doing it. When I first started prepping meals, for me, every Sunday was meal prep Sunday. It still is. The only thing that has changed is now I prep all of my food for the first half of the week, if not the majority of the week on Sunday. And then I finish up any food that I need throughout the week, usually like Thursday or Friday, to last me through the weekend. And so we will jump in. A couple of ground rules that I like to have everybody follow. Number one is show up. Number two is find the nugget, right? The majority of you are not on this call to learn every single thing that I'm going to tell you. A lot of you probably know a lot of this, but keep an open mind and just try and find that one little piece that can help shift your focus on how you've either looked at something, how you've done something, or just that one little piece that can help you be more effective. And then the last piece is apply action steps. So at the end of every call, I always try to give a couple of action steps to take on for the next week, right? There's really no point in watching the training or going through any program if we're not going to apply the things that we learn. So those are some of the ground rules. Let's make sure that we're doing that. And then the overview is we're going to go over having a plan, creating your list, prepping for time, keeping it simple, and then how to set up your plate. So let's jump right in. I'm going to try to keep it quick because I know everybody's busy and I want this to be informative and not something that drags on. So, first thing I do, this here is the grocery list that we use every week. We go shopping every Saturday, so typically every Friday, if not Saturday morning. We have this planned out. The first thing that you want to do, and if you want a copy of this, let me know and I will be sure to send it to you. I just print one out. Actually, I print like 10 out at a time. So every 8 to 10 weeks, I'm printing more. But print this out, or if you have a list that you already use, this is what we use at the beginning of each week. And we start at the bottom by labeling our dinners. So for us, every Tuesday is Taco Tuesday. So we know that that's like the free spot on bingo. I fill that in. The boys and my wife love pizza on Fridays, and it's easy. It's the end of the week. It's fun. So we always do Taco Tuesday and Pizza Friday. Then we fill in the rest of the days. What are we going to have on Monday? What are we going to have on Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday? So get those filled out. Now, to make this easy, designate the following for your dinners and get that filled out. Then the next step you want to do is figure out what you're going to do for your lunches. For me, I need two meals that I will not be eating at home. So it's usually my mid morning meal, an afternoon lunch. And then if I'm training clients later in the day, I'll bring a shake and a post workout snack. But I know for a fact I always have two meals on the go. So figure out how many meals you need on the go. And then we're going to do the following. You're going to pick two proteins, any two proteins. I usually pick chicken thighs and chicken breasts, or I'll do steak and chicken, turkey and chicken, but usually some form of a good protein. Pick two, any two. You're going to put that in with your meat and seafood. Then you're going to pick two types of carbs. I love rice. It's very easy for me to digest. I can eat a lot of it without any issues. So rice is usually one. And then I love sweet potatoes. So sweet potatoes is usually my second. So as you can see, as we're picking these, we're now starting to fill in the list. Two types of veggies. I love carrots. So I always get baby carrots. And then I also love broccoli. So those are my two veggies. So now we have our two proteins, we have our two carbs, and we have our two veggies. You know what you're going to have for dinner. So just start filling your list out in accordance to the things that are matching up with our on the go meals and our dinners, and then just kind of fill in the rest. Um, so as we do that, your list will start to fill up. This is going to do a couple of things. One, you're going to save money because you're going to have everything planned out. And then number two is you're going to not waste food. I see so many times people will buy a pack of chicken, they'll cook half the chicken pack for a meal or two, and then they put it back in the fridge, and then they just kind of eat miscellaneous things throughout the week. And then by the time they go to cook that chicken again, or cook what's left of the chicken that they haven't already, it's gone bad. So this will help um, take care of that. So create the list, label your dinners, figure out how many meals you need each week on the go. We're going to do 2 proteins, 2 carbs, and 2 veggies. Fill in the list based around that. According to studies, only 10% of people feel like they are in control of how they spend their time each day. Pretty interesting. And a plan is what? A schedule is when it takes both a plan and a schedule to get things done. So if we're not properly planning things out and scheduling times to create or do them, then nothing gets done. And so by creating your plan and having your grocery list set and your meals, you don't even have to have your meals set. I'm going to show you how easy this is. But get the grocery list figured out. Pick your proteins, pick your carbs, pick your veggies. Then we're going to create a schedule to our plan. So we want to maximize our time and cook in bulk. If you have I have a grill that sits on the back deck, it's covered. So I usually cook that. I'll typically take my 2 forms of protein, which are chicken thighs and chicken breasts this week, and I just put them all on the grill. I cook all of those at the same time. While those are cooking, I have rice on the stove top, usually enough for 2 weeks. And then I will also cook my veggies if I'm doing broccoli or baby carrots I just eat. So I just throw those in. Those are in the fridge, but just cook everything all at the same time. This is going to maximize our time. Use simple ingredients and seasonings. I typically just use a general seasoning like I think it's just an all-purpose Creole seasoning that I put on almost everything. It's like salt, pepper, paprika, just some real basic stuff. So it just gives it enough of a flavor that if I eat it by itself, it's good. But if I want to do something like teriyaki chicken, I can throw a different type of seasoning on it and it doesn't overpower it or make it taste weird. I can chop the chicken up and put taco seasoning on it. And again, it will kind of take on whatever flavors it takes on. You can even just use a base salt and pepper just to get a little bit of added flavor in there, because the point is to cook it in bulk so that as we go throughout the week, we can kind of individualize our meals. The third part of cooking in bulk is cook when you're already cooking. So what I mean by that is if you're cooking dinner and let's say you're doing steak, right? If you have steak on the grill or you're doing steak on the stovetop or you're doing steak in the oven, however you're doing it, maximize your time and just cook additional protein while that's cooking, right? It's already being cooked, so it's not that hard to throw 2 or 3 more steaks on or a pack of chicken. And while your steak's cooking, you got your chicken cooking. So just throughout the week, it's an easy way to stay on top of cooking so that you're not doing it all at one time. The next step is we've cooked all of our protein, we've cooked all of our carbs, and we've got our veggies. The next thing is we're going to make meals 2 to 3 days in advance. And the reason I say this is because usually by day 5, 6, or 7, if you haven't gone through that food already, it's not to say it's gone bad, but it's just not as fresh. So what I like to do is I will get all the protein and I'll usually just do something simple. I get a container, I'll put rice, chicken, and broccoli, and I'll do 2 of those. That's 2 meals. I'll do chicken, sweet potato, and maybe just some added seasoning to it. I eat the baby carrots separate, and that's 2 meals. So now I have 4 meals, which for me is 2 days worth of meals. And I've done that very easily. It's already ready to go. So then throughout the week, all I need to do is the night before. So that'll take me through Monday and Tuesday. And then the night before, you're fine. Go ahead. Okay. Yeah. So what I'll do is the night before, as I continue to cook, is just pick my meals out and make them. So now I have all of my chicken in one Tupperware, or my chicken thighs, all of my chicken breasts in another Tupperware, all of my rice in a Tupperware. So it's just very easily spread out. So Tuesday night, I'm preparing a couple more meals. Wednesday night, preparing a couple more meals. And then usually by then, I'm having to recook some meals while we do dinner. But this is a very easy way to just separate. You don't have to make 14 meals Sunday and make them, very elaborate. Keep it simple. Keep it very simple. Pick a protein, pick a carb, pick a veggie. Always have bulk protein on hand. Prime example, tonight I got home later than expected. My wife was running late as well. And so it was 5:30. If I didn't already have pre-cooked chicken, I ended up doing chicken, rice, and broccoli. If I did not have that on hand already, I'd be looking at 6:30 by the time the dinner's ready. And then the boys are getting ready to go to bed by then. So now we're rushing to eat. We're rushing to get them to bed. I'm sure there's still a slew of things that you need to get done by the end of the night. So having bulk protein on hand makes life so much easier, because even if I didn't have the rice pre-cooked, I can cook rice in about 20 minutes. That's really not that difficult. I can also utilize things like a potato in the microwave, which I'm not a fan of, but hey, it's 2 minutes and it's done. Tortillas, I can chop the chicken up, put a little bit of lettuce in there, add some condiments, and now I have a chicken, a lettuce and chicken wrap. So always keep bulk protein on hand, because it is the easiest way to consolidate your time. The next is how to set your plate. So I don't want you guys to necessarily worry about macros. If you're somebody who has your macros down, then great, you already know what you're doing. But for the majority of people, we just want to focus on eating whole foods, so non-packaged processed foods. And the easiest way to break it down is to do half your plate in non-starchy vegetables. So we're talking leafy greens primarily. That should take up about 50% of the plate. 25% of your plate should be protein. Now it says lean protein. I'm a big believer that chicken thighs, ground beef, as long as you don't go below 93 is really the preference. Same with ground turkey, 93. Any of those are really good, because then you're actually getting some healthy added fats without having to put anything else on top. And then the last 25% should be made up of your carbohydrates. So rice, potato, quinoa, oats, whatever that may be. Just in utilizing this structure alone, you're going to feel a lot better. And I have clients that are not measuring anything, and they're just setting their plate up like this, and they're already losing weight. Now, if you're in the position where you're losing weight and you're not trying to lose weight, then it gets a little bit easier. All you simply have to do is add a little bit more proteins and a little bit more carbohydrates, and reduce the non-starchy vegetables. If we're in a position where we want to lose weight and we're not losing weight, then either stay where you're at and you know that that's your maintenance, or just simply remove a little bit of the carbohydrates, or go with a leaner option of protein, like a chicken breast over a chicken thigh. So this is just a really easy way, without having to calculate, without having to count, without having to measure, to lay your plate out, to, at the bare minimum, live healthier, feel better, have more energy, and get the proper amount of nutrition that you need to get in a day. Quick macro guide. So take a screenshot of this if you want to. If not, I will be putting out a macro guide 101 here shortly. So it'll give all of this plus some additional breakdowns, and what each one of these macros specifically do within the body. But just as a quick guide, carbohydrates, we're looking at things like bread, rice, pasta, oats, quinoa, and couscous. Your starchier vegetables, so potatoes, corn, pumpkin, those sorts of things, squashes. Beans, so like chickpeas, baked beans, lentils, some dairy, so things like milk, yogurt, cottage cheese. A lot of those, even though they are dairy and have protein, they also have a significant amount of carbohydrates in them too. So be very mindful if you're a dairy fan. A lot of those do carry carbohydrates. Obviously, fruit gives us our fructose, and then we have sugar and honey. Proteins are going to be all of your meat products, fish, seafood, eggs, also dairy. So it falls under both protein and carbohydrate. and can fall under fats. So it can encompass all three. Beans as well, which also include both a significant amount of carbohydrates and protein. And then your nuts, which I'm really not a big fan of listing nuts in the proteins. I actually consider that more of a fat. There's a very minimal amount of protein that you're getting from nuts. So be very careful with those. If anything, add them in on top to get some additional fats. And then soy and tofu products are great for anybody that is vegan, vegetarian, to get a significant amount of protein. And then lastly is fats. So that's our meat fats. So things like salmon, chicken thighs, a little bit fattier, 93 ground beef, 93 turkey, chicken legs. You're going to get meat fat from those, butter, obviously, which butter is not a bad thing. If anything, try and stay away from margarine, opt for grass-fed butter. But butter is actually a good source of fat when used in moderation. As we mentioned, full fat dairy products. So again, your whole milk, your 2%, your whole fat cottage cheese, coconut oil and oil products. So that's going to be our olive oil, our avocado oil, all of those different types of oils. And then we have the peanut oils, the palm oils, the cottonseed oils. I recommend staying away from those. If you're going to opt for an oil, stick with like the coconut, avocado, olive oil, grapeseed, just better health benefits. So that's a good one to go with. And then occasional foods, I put this in here because, again, we're not here to restrict ourselves, but we are here to understand balance. And occasional foods like chips, biscuits, cakes, those are all high fat, but in moderation. Enjoy yourself from time to time. Didn't get any questions, so I'll open it up, but I don't think we have any at the moment. Take a look here. Yeah, it doesn't look like we have anything at the moment. So I hope this helps you guys. Just a quick snippet on how to effectively meal prep. The action steps I would love to see you guys take for the week is either get this grocery list from me, or if you have one you're already using, use it. Try prepping your protein in bulk on one specific day, and then create 2 to 3 days worth of meals within this next week. So those are going to be the action steps we want to take this week. And then if any questions come up, or if you have some thoughts or anything that you're struggling with, let me know. But I really hope this helps you guys, and I look forward to catching you on the next live. So take care and have a great night.